So this one's out to one of my followers in Summerlin, Nevada. That is not too far from Vegas. It's probably about a 35-minute ride. I mean, I've been there before. I like to go to the mall. Wintertime, they had the ice rink. Anyway, he said, is there anything positive in the Nevada Department of Corrections? Yes, there actually is. And it's not one of the prisons. It's actually called Casa Grande. Now, Casa Grande looks like a regular like hotel type of building. If you ever went to one of those comfort inns, you ever see how those buildings are all stacked out? That's exactly what it looks like. Four bunk beds to two bunk beds to a room, four people. You got your phones. You know, it's freedom. It's straight freedom, and there's a lot of trust. You are in community trust, and sadly, you didn't know about this, and a lot of people didn't either. But I actually ended up getting a job in New York, New York, and there was a group of managers that came out one time. I was smoking a cigarette. You're not supposed to smoke cigarettes, but they tell you, hey, don't bring the shit back and don't do drugs. And they said, hey, come here, we want to talk to you. He goes, you're that guy in prison, aren't you? I said, yeah. He said, so what do? They drive you from the prison down here? I said, no, I walk here. And they were confused, and they were talking to me, and they were like, well, why, as a taxpayer, don't I know about this program? And I was just quiet. I didn't know how to respond. I didn't know what to say. And they all said, they're like, dude, we would fund something like this. We would give you guys more jobs if they would just come to us and say something. Because that's all you got to do is come to us and say something. Hey, this is a program we're doing. We're going to get these guys out of prison. We're trying to stabilize their life. We're going to try to get them out of here and get them moving in the right direction. And they're like, dude, we pay taxes in this state and we don't know shit about this program. And I was like, dude, it's so great. They even have one up north. Forget what it's called up north. But I walked from behind, it was behind Allegiant Stadium. I'm not going to say streets or addresses or anything. I'm not, no. And I would walk to New York, New York. I would go to work, clock in. I'd run my shift, do whatever I needed to do. If I needed to stay later, the chefs would call and say, hey, he's leaving at this time, or hey, he's leaving early. You know, they got to call and let the COs know. But it was a it was an easy program. And if that program existed in every state in this country, we would probably have less people in prison. And I think people could turn around, you know? And Nevada has the ultimate blueprint. The way they do it, I mean, it's spot on. They have the ultimate blueprint to share this with other states and other governors and say, hey, why don't you try something like this? Just to see where it goes. Why not? Give that person that motivation to go out and get a job and do the right thing. As far as Casa Grande goes, yeah, there was some good, there was some bad. You know, as far as medical and Casa Grande goes, they had some punk little bitch of a nurse who always had to throw, I'll send you to the yard, I'll send you to the yard, I'll send you to the yard. Finally, enough people complained about it, and he cut his bullshit. And, you know, he did it to me one time. I went in there for heartburn. And you need to see a provider. I got to send you to the yard. You got to roll up. And they would do this 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, the last thing I needed to hear was your shit, you know? I was already on time to go to work at 11. I was working 11 to 11. I don't want to hear nothing, to be honest with you. The last thing I want to do is hear another grown man bitch and complain. So I said, all right, man, thank you for your time. I'm gone. It was over. Caseworkers, there was one woman there who lied about everything. She was terrible. She lied about everything. Like, she had no clue that I already knew what she was looking at and what was going on. I was just going in there playing stupid to see how much she would lie, and she lied about the whole thing. Thankfully, they got her out of there, and everything worked out fine. The other caseworker, Carrillo, not a lot of people liked him. I loved that guy. I thought he was great. You know, he was, he'd give it to you straight. You know, hey, look, you fucked up. You know, hey, don't do this shit again. If you were in trouble, there'd be a guard in here, and you'd be leaving. You know, and he'd tell you, hey, cut that shit out. Or he'd help you. He'd tell you, this is what you can do. This is when you can do it. I never had a problem with that guy. I thought he was awesome. You know, a lot of people may have had different feelings about him. I actually liked the guy. When it came down to the director of the place, his name was Christensen. The man was on point, open door policy. If you had an issue, you can go to the bubble. Hey, I got to talk to Christensen. Can you see if he has time? 9 out of 10 times he had the time to sit there and talk to you and let you know, hey, you may have done this the wrong way, or hey, why don't you try doing it this way? Or look, I'll go talk to that guard and I'll let him know how you feel. This way he was like the mediator. There was no issues and nobody was getting kicked out. There was a senior there, Nagelot, awesome. Dude, no one really liked him. I thought that guy was the fucking best thing ever. They could use a bunch of him in that system. So his theory was, if you lie or you act stupid, you're going to leave. Okay, cool, right? Look, the guy's going to set the stage. He's going to give you the lights. He's going to hand you the microphone, and he's going to give you that one opportunity to be a man. And if you can't be that man, then you're going to be on the next thing smoking to a yard. And I mean, that's what I liked about him. He was straightforward with me. There was a few times where he told me, what do you need help with? How can I help you? And he went the extra mile to help me. It had to do with my driver's license. For some reason, they weren't accepting my driver's license. And then the DMV kind of had an issue with giving me an ID when I already had a driver's license. And he just looked at me and says, look, I'll handle it. I got you. Everything was fixed. When he said, come back and see me after count, it was all fixed. He had the paperwork. I signed it. I filled it out. I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. And he said, no problem. He goes, this is what we're here for. And like a gentleman, it was over. It was cool. And there was another CO that I talked to a lot. A lot of people didn't like him. They called him Ninja, but he was cool. Calvez was fun. The Puerto Rican cat from Chicago, Rivera, same last name. These guys, they just want you to do what's right. They want you to do everything you're supposed to do to better yourself. And as far as Casa Grande goes, that was one of the greatest experiences. And I hope I never go back to prison. I promise, I hope I never do. But when it comes down to Casa Grande, that's what prison should be like. That's rehabilitating. That's like I said, that is the ultimate blueprint in rehabilitating somebody is Casa Grande, unless people fuck up. But hey, you know what, guys, you can bury yourself with your own stupid shit, but when it came down to Casa Grande, it was wide open. No one was on any bullshit. People just wanted to go to work and come back. And that was the best part. They had a program called Hope for Prisoners. I didn't care for it. I thought it was just, for me, it wouldn't have worked for me at all on any level, because I don't need them, but would it work for somebody else? Probably, somebody who needs help or might need some extra curriculums to get, certified in things that can better yourself in your job. They actually get those things for you. They're pretty good with it. And they have a good tight foundation when it comes to getting jobs. They know a lot of people. And if you're going in there as a Hope for Prisoner, graduate or, alumni, whatever they call it, they respect you a little more, and Metro gets involved too. When it comes down to Metro, look, they got a job to do. So when people say they hate the cops, look, Las Vegas Metro has a job to do. Was I pissed off when I got arrested? No. Fuck no. You know what I mean? Was I confused? Yeah, I was a little confused, but look, at the end of the day, they got a job to do. You got to leave them alone. Some cops might go over the top. We get it. That's a North Las Vegas thing. But, the guy that arrested me, super respectful. He just looked at me. He's like, man, you're an idiot. Cuffed me out and he says, we'll talk to you when we get there. And that was it. It was the end of it. I did my 4 years. I did what I was supposed to do. I worked and I left. I ended up taking my parole to Philadelphia and then ultimately coming to Florida. So when it comes down to Casa Grande, and I know you did ask if there's anything great, this is my answer to you. I hope this answers your question. And as always, let me know what you think. I'm interested.